Now, let's talk about the third layer of the toolbox. This is where we truly begin novel creation. It mainly contains narrative description and dialogue, the three core components of fiction writing. Narrative moves the story from point A to B, ultimately concluding at Z. Description paints the scene for readers. Dialogue breathes life into characters through spoken words. First, let's discuss narrative, the art of storytelling. What makes a good story? Stephen's fundamental belief is that stories essentially form themselves organically, like fossils waiting underground to be unearthed. The writer's job is to excavate these stories using narrative tools, only resorting to plotting when absolutely necessary. But many clumsy writers make plotting their first choice, resulting in contrived narratives. Stephen believes storytelling should rely on intuition. Place characters in dilemmas, observe their struggles mentally, then write it down. Endings might match expectations, but often surprise even the author. For a suspense writer, this unpredictability becomes a blessing. Once Stephen had a plain dream about an author trapped by his deranged fan. He remembered the psychotic woman's words, the author's broken leg, the locked bedroom. That night, his hotel proved too noisy for sleep, so he started writing from that dream scenario. 16 pages flowed out in one night. Initially, just a vague scene, disabled author and psychotic fan. No complete story yet, but starting from this trapped scenario, the story emerged organically, later published as Misery. Stephen strongly recommends trying this method, breaking free from rigid outlines. He believes powerful situational setups make plot engineering unnecessary. So, how do we create compelling scenarios? Stephen has a simple method. Start with what if hypotheticals. For example, what if vampires invaded a small town? What if a cop suddenly went berserk and started killing everyone? What if a cleaning lady, cleared of killing her husband, gets accused of another murder she didn't commit? What if a mother and son get trapped in an RV being chased by a rabid dog? These scenarios spontaneously emerged in Stephen's mind, sometimes during showers, sometimes while driving. He developed these interesting premises into novels without pre planning. Now, let's discuss the second component, description, which helps readers immerse themselves in the story. Before writing, visualize the scene you want readers to experience. The challenge is translating mental images into words without over or under describing. Insufficient description confuses like blurry vision. Excessive detail drowns readers. The key is finding the right balance. Stephen dislikes exhaustive physical descriptions of characters. He prefers letting readers use their imagination. In Carrie, he simply describes her as an ostracized high schooler with bad skin and unfashionable clothes. Readers can fill in remaining details themselves. No need to describe every pimple or dress seam. Stephen emphasizes creating atmosphere over physical details to enhance immersion. Good description uses few carefully chosen details. Usually the first details that come to mind are the most authentic and powerful. For example, when setting a scene in his favorite NYC steakhouse, Stephen recalls, the mirror behind the bar reflecting bright streetlights immediately comes to mind. Second is the wall comics. Third is the sizzling steak aroma. While more details could be added, they're unnecessary. The story should never be sacrificed for excessive descriptions. The final component of novel writing is dialogue, which gives characters their voice. Physical features and personality traits are key to character building. Readers should discern character through speech, not author explanations. Good dialogue serves this exact purpose. To portray a fool, show don't tell through their words. Let's hear a conversation between Mr. Butts and a child. Butts said, I don't know what they say, never studied who said what. Everyone's different, gives me headache and ruins appetite. What's appetite? The child asked. Stop asking questions, Mr. Butts yelled, snatching the kid's stick and snapping it. Appetite's when you're hungry at mealtime, not when sick. They say I don't get it. Oh, appetite, the child said flatly. Mr. Butts struggling with vocabulary doesn't alone prove idiocy. But hearing more lines reveals his limited intellect naturally. The key to dialogue, like writing itself, is honest transcription, like eavesdropping real conversations. Some may dislike crude words like shit, but sometimes they're unavoidable. No kid tells mom's sister excreted in tub. They'd say pooped or made stinky. Authentic dialogue requires brutal honesty to resonate with readers. Now we've covered essential fiction writing techniques. Next comes post-first draft work, Stephen's final writing phase. A revision, how many drafts are needed? Stephen's personal answer is 3 drafts. First draft as raw story, written quickly. Second draft refines deeper meanings, highlights themes, and controls pacing. After completing first draft, third draft polishes the language for elegance. Write first draft fast. Download ideas directly onto paper to maintain creative momentum. After finishing first draft, Stephen recommends minimum 6 weeks break from it. Lock away the draft during this period. No peeking or thinking about it. When you've nearly forgotten the draft, you're ready for second draft. Read entire first draft in one sitting after 6 weeks. Create surreal, someone else's work experience. Editing others' work is easier. This detachment helps spot flaws more objectively. Second draft's mission: uncover symbolic meanings and sharpen themes. Stephen believes themes shouldn't be predetermined in novels. Good fiction grows themes organically from story development. During revisions, ask big questions about story cohesion, how to make story flow smoother, identify recurring elements that could form thematic patterns. This reading phase demands understanding the story's core meaning, enhance theme-related scenes while trimming redundancies in second draft. Also consider narrative pacing during revisions. Story's tempo control. Fast pacing risks losing readers. Slow pacing bores them. How to find the perfect rhythm. The best method is having trusted friends read your draft to identify boring sections. Controlling pacing often means eliminating dull content. Speed things up. Stephen's editing formula. Second draft length equals first draft minus 10%. If first draft is 5,000 words, aim for 4,500 in second draft. Also consider backstory during revisions. Backstory refers to events preceding your main narrative. Backstory shapes characters and explains motivations. Should be integrated naturally. How to avoid clunky exposition. Example dialogue. Hello, ex-wife. This clumsy exposition reveals divorce status. Better version. Hi there. The man said, his fingers instinctively touching where his wedding ring used to be. Still not perfect, but better than direct statement. Readers care more about future developments than past events. Keep backstory concise and essential. Study how Harry Potter sequels efficiently recap previous books. Remember, everyone has history. Keep only interesting parts. Stephen concludes with his ultimate writing philosophy. Writing is faith sustained through action, a defiance of despair. This book's second part was written with that spirit. Writing isn't life, but sometimes it's the path back to living. That concludes our analysis of On Writing. Study notes available below the audio. See you tomorrow.